meeting is being recorded.
Let me encourage. So everybody is in. Brandy, if you want to get us started, I did go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and record, but we should have everybody.
I hear it. Crap. No, I might have to do this on the computer.
You definitely are going to want to mute just because we'll get a lot of feedback. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep everything off for us. I hope that you all can hear. Let's say we have about 25 people in here, which is great. I know we have some people with some other responsibilities and they may be coming in a little bit later. But welcome. My name is Brandy Caldwell and I am the director at the JSU In-Service Center. Thank you all for your interest. You know, we sort of put this out on social media, and I know AMSTA shared some and just relied on word of mouth. And so we're excited to have this many people here today to learn about this cohort. And before I hand it over to the people with the real information, I did want to share with you that the link to the cohort document, and I will share that again in the chat, but that document has been updated today with information on how to pay by credit card. So I know we had several people interested in being able to make their payment using a credit card, and the university has graciously allowed us to set that up through the bursar's office. And it's super simple. It's a phone call, and we've already had somebody pay yesterday, and we know the system works. So that is awesome. But that information is on that document, as well as all the latest, greatest dates and information. One other thing I wanted to mention before I hand it over is that we have a very qualified person who's going to serve kind of as our local facilitator here, and that is Jason Russell. Jason is a teacher at Southside High School. He's also on our In-Service Center governing board. And when we started discussing this, I found out Jason had completed his STEM certification, and I felt like he would be a great point of contact and facilitator for these meetings because he's been there, and he had a lot of great things to say about the program. And so, Jason, if you're on here, if you can like unmute and just say hello and briefly tell them who you are.
Hey guys, looking forward to all of us working together. I've been through this, took care of it, learned the ins and outs and the roadblocks and all the great things that can come out of it. So I'm looking forward to helping you guys through that, and I'll do anything I possibly can to help you be as successful as possible without being frustrated. So looking forward to this. It's a great program. I learned a lot, been able to apply it to my classroom. So it's a good thing we're doing here.
All right. Thank you, Jason. And his email is also on that document. If you ever have any questions and I don't get back with you right away, he might can answer them. And then we have some awesome people that are going to share all the good info today. So that's my part. I'm going to let them start from here.
Hey guys, like Brandy said, I'm from the National Institute for STEM Education. So I am Beth Childers. I'm one of the lead coaches here, and I have alongside with me Brittany, who's actually going to be your kind of touch point for the coaches standpoint from our program. So she'll be with you guys, but I'm going to go over just some quick info with y'all. It's almost just honestly highlighting the program and giving my testimonial for how it was when I went through as a teacher in the classroom, and then how I'm applying it also in the future. So welcome. We are so glad you're here. And we appreciate you joining us after a fun-filled day, I know, with students all day long. I know it's exhausting. So thank you for giving us your afternoon to learn about this program. So let's see, my mouse. Okay. So we're going to kind of go through a quick little agenda. I'm really going to touch on the why, the what, the how, and then anything else related to this particular cohort. And then at the very end, if you would like to know even more about the platform, Brittany's going to stay on and actually, for those who want to stay on and kind of learn a little bit about the ins and outs of the actual platform that you might be working in, she's going to stay on the call and give you an opportunity to kind of see that firsthand prior to actually starting the program. So that's our agenda for today. We're going to start off with the why. So when you're thinking about going through this, I will say I went through this program 4 years ago. And I was in the classroom at the time, and STEM was really new to us. It was just a journey we were starting. And at first, when I did it, it was really kind of brought to me, and I was given the option to do it. I jumped on it just because I thought it was something new and exciting to be a part of. And it was completely transformational, and I am so thankful that I did. I use the phrase a total game changer because it really will be a game changer in your classroom. It's going to put your lessons more student-centered, and you're going to be able, no matter what you teach, like that's the beauty of it, no matter if you teach elementary, middle, high school, no matter if you teach a content area, no matter if you teach math, science, social, whatever you teach, you're going to be able to apply it to your classroom. And I think that's really the biggest piece, because in our fields, we never know where we're going to be from year to year sometimes. And so even now, I'm an instructional coach now, and I work with curriculum and professional learning, and I still use what I have learned in that program. I still use it in my position today. So it is a total game changer, but most importantly, I just want to talk about the fact that the reason this program works so well is you're not going to look back and think, oh, this was one major thing that I did for this one piece of my classroom. As you go through this program and you take little bits at a time, you're going to see that it's small shifts in your classroom. Like it's a small implementation or small tweak that you make. And even though it's a small tweak, the impact in your classroom is huge. And you will notice those impacts. And so that's what I love. And I worked with teachers today in my district who are going through it. And they even today, just small things that they were like, I changed this in my classroom and it made a huge difference. And it wasn't a big thing. It's just, again, those small things. And I think that's why this program works so well, is because you're not biting off a huge chunk. You're biting off small pieces at a time. You don't eat an elephant all in one bite. And so that's really what this program is like. And that's why I am, again, so passionate about it. So what is this program? Because yes, it has immediate application. Yes, it's got all these great things, but what is it and how is it set up? So what you're going to do is it's going to be an online professional learning platform. And I can tell you without a doubt, I lead professional learning in my district on a weekly basis. I have been to a lot of conferences, but this is hands down the best professional learning that I've ever had, simply because it is all online. And it's going to be exactly what you need it to be. So it's going to be, you're going to be able to differentiate your learning based on what you actually need within the platform. So you're going to have 3 domains that you're going to work through, and you're going to start off with an environment for learning. And it really looks at, how your kids are interacting in the classroom and how is your learning set up. And then you're going to move into building scientific literacy. And then you'll move into actually engaging students with scientific engineering practices. And it builds on each other so nicely that you work through these indicators. And before you know it, at the end, and don't freak out, everybody always does, but you will finish, by the end, you will finish 38 indicators. And you will have this beautiful portfolio online at your fingertips for the rest of your life, to show that you are nationally STEM certified, but all your work is there as well. So you can go back and look at it. You'll have access to all the content. And so it's there forever, but it's an online professional learning platform that you can work at your own speed. And really, honestly, in the order you want to go, you don't have to go in a certain order. So there's a lot of autonomy to it. And I really like that about it. So what you're going to do is you will have, I said there was 38 indicators. So when you're in the platform, and again, Brittany will give you a snapshot, but after this, if you decide to join, which we hope you all do, you will have an actual launch, and we'll take you through exactly how to go through the indicators. Again, this is just kind of a high level overview of what the process is. So within this process, there's 38 indicators. And inside each process, it's kind of all this, it's all the same format on each one. And what you're going to see is there will be, you're going to every time you'll review the indicator content, it'll be self-directed. If you look at the indicator and you're like, I'm really good at getting students to interact with each other. Student-to-student interactions is something I'm really strong at. You may not do much of the learning online. You may just complete the indicator and then go ahead and move forward. Or it may be something that you think, okay, this is something I really need to improve on. So I'm going to spend some time through the platform. I'm going to learn about this. I'm going to get some good resources to use, and then you can complete your indicator. So that's the content. After you've reviewed the content, you're going to actually observe a classroom. You can use an observation from your own classroom. You can observe a peer classroom, or you can do videos online and within our platform for your observations. We ask for a 20-minute observation. You can do longer, but it's really not necessary. But you can do 15 to 20 minutes is really ideal. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a recording sheet to complete, and you're going to use that observation data to complete what we call your portfolio submission, which is one of your indicators. And you're going to go through and you'll rate the indicator based on a rubric, and then you'll give evidence of your from your observation, and then you'll make a recommendation. And that's where the true power is in your learning, is from that recommendation, looking at how you can grow or how that teacher could grow in regards to that specific indicator. So for all 38 indicators, you'll actually be looking at an observation, and then you'll actually be suggesting or recommending an improvement. And through that, that's really where I think about being a reflective practitioner, and how in our classrooms we're reflecting all the time. It just gives you that deeper look at an observation. And how you can improve that in regards to that one specific indicator. So again, it's not a huge piece of your lesson. It's just you're thinking about just a certain small portion related to that indicator. The other thing is you can use observations more than once. So you don't have to go out and observe 38 lessons. Some of these observations will overlap. And that's what makes it, again, even better, is you can use them for various things. The other thing is, it's going to focus on all standards again. So no matter your classroom, that's the process. It works for all 38 indicators. And so like Jason said, once you get the process down, you work the kinks out in those first couple of indicators, it becomes really simplistic. It's just getting through the formatting, and then you can get into the platform and really dig deeper and learn. So that's kind of our process. This process is the same for everybody that goes through our program. Again, you can tailor it and differentiate it based on what you need and what you don't need. But the cool thing is that you are given an opportunity today to sign up for to be a part of a certain cohort, your JSU cohort. You're given that opportunity today. So a lot of teachers are going through this now. We know in Alabama, they're going through it independently, which means they're just kind of working through it on their own. They don't have anybody to collaborate with. And so one of the things that we're really excited about are these cohorts, because when you go through it as a school, if you're getting campus certification, you do have a group of teachers at your school, which is what I went through, and I really worked with them. However, you don't always have that. So this cohort is almost like your teaching group. So I want to show you just a quick thing. This is from our SERIC cohort. They're another cohort in Alabama. Going through, and this is some of the feedback that they said about going through NCST, the positive impact it's had in their classroom. And so if you see, there's a couple things that really stick out to me, and where I pay attention to my classroom culture more. I've tried to incorporate higher order questioning. It's made me rethink what I can do to become a better teacher. I've made changes to my classroom arrangement. And so just little things like that. But then my favorite one is encouraging me to reflect more on my own teaching. And again, our best learning comes from those reflective practices. And so experience plus reflection is really where our best learning is. And so I think that's one of the best things about this program, is it really focuses on that reflection piece. So no matter where you are in your teaching career, if you're a first-year teacher or you're in your 29th year about to retire, you're going to find benefits to this program. I can promise you that. I've yet to meet a teacher who thought this was a waste of their time ever. So there's a little bit about the cohort, but again, you would have going through this cohort would be an opportunity for you to have a group to join with, to have these opportunities to have sessions together that really offer things that you wouldn't have if you went through it independently. So what I'm asking you today is I'm asking you to take a chance to make a change for the better in your classroom. Because again, this is a game changer. I promise you, no matter your level of expertise, no matter your grade level, your content, anything, it's going to make a huge impact in your classroom if you take a chance. More importantly, going through with this cohort, if you take a chance on this cohort, it's going to have an even bigger impact because you're going to have peers to collaborate with, and you're going to have a group to meet with. You're going to have an opportunity to have work sessions, which are huge. So you'll have coaches that join in with you and walk you through completing indicators. A lot of times they'll be differentiated based on where you are in your indicator work. During those work sessions, you'll have time to collaborate with peers, both by using your, you'll be able to collaborate verbally and by using documents together where you really have time to read and look at how others are completing the indicator. And also, more importantly, especially in the world we live in, you'll have that support system and also that accountability piece. And so you'll have people to kind of lean on and think, where am I in the process, and hold us accountable, because teachers are pressed for time more than ever. But having a support group and someone to say, hey, look, I'm here, let's get to this indicator by this time as a group, really does hold you accountable and kind of keeps you on track. So that is just a little bit about, again, the process. I can't speak it enough. I went through it again 4 years ago, loved it so much that as soon as I left the classroom 3 years ago, and the next year after, once I left the classroom, I knew I wanted to be a coach when I was able to devote a little more time to it. And I actually do work for my district now through NICE, but I believe in this program so very much because I've seen it change the best of the best classrooms, even just, again, making them just a little bit better and enhancing education for our students, which is what it's all about. So again, I am super passionate about it, but I hope that you take a chance on NICE, and I hope you take a chance on the JSU cohort, because you will not regret it, I promise. But I'm going to open up for just a minute before we turn it over to Brittany. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can speak out if you have any questions before we move into the portal.
I am just going to mention, I put this in the chat, we will be adding each of our sessions into PowerSchool Professional Learning. And so you will get an hour for today, an hour for each of the virtual sessions, and then 6 hours for the in-person PD. And because NICE is an affiliate of AMSTI, the 1 day of PD is considered one of your 1 day high quality PD days that you have to have if you are a Teams teacher. And just a side note, we are working on some other opportunities for those of you that are needing those additional 4 days. There should be a memo coming to you in the next couple of days, or at least to your central office, regarding what those approved PD days, who can provide them. But NICE is one of the affiliates that we know can provide them. So you definitely can cash in this 1 day if you're able to make it to that in-person day. And I'll just mention another thing. None of these meetings are quote unquote required. You know, you are gonna work through this at the pace that works for you. Obviously, we hope that that you'll move on through it and we can have 100% success and completion rate when we are kind of done with everything. But nothing is required. We would love for you to attend, and I think you're going to get more out of it when you do attend and you are coached. But if you have to miss something, you have to miss it. We understand. But I just wanted you to know that we will provide some hours for your time. And then if you have contacted me or you haven't and you're interested in it, we are providing a local PLU. Okay, I'm done with all the logistics.
Brady, somebody asked in the chat about having to be a regular classroom teacher. I know for NICE, you don't have to be a regular classroom teacher, but I wanted you to make sure that you, for y'all's end, does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter. And if you do not need any kind of credits in Power School Professional Learning, that's fine. A lot of people, though, if they have their teaching certificate, even if they're not a classroom teacher, they work with a university, many people still want to keep up their certification. So we can provide those credits. But if you're just wanting it as a credential, then more power to you. We're happy to help.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm going to jump in here for a second. Since I just finished mine up, and my certificate was up for renewal, the hours that you get through the NICE certification counts towards your renewal as well, because I ended up with 90 hours through the NICE certification. So, you know, if you fall in that category of, hey, I'm in that 5th year and need to re-up my certification, well, this is going to knock your hours out pretty easily as well.
So again, another question in the chat that just popped up is this open for elementary teachers? Again, for NI's perspective, yes, it is.
Oh yeah, of course. For us, of course, whoever wants to be a part of the cohort, we welcome them. We just made this available because we knew there was a need for the people that were doing the Teams application. But like I mentioned, I have some people that are nationally board certified or they're pursuing that path, but they want the credential anyway. So, yeah, I would love elementary folks to go through this. Sure.
David, you have 1 year to complete the 38 indicators through NICE. I'm not sure if JSU has any different expectation, but for NICE, once you start your certification process, you have 1 year from the start date to finish it.
We would love for you to be able to complete it before summer, but there's no mandatory deadline for us either. We're going to have, it's my understanding, we'll get some reports kind of showing us what the percentage of completion is. And we would love to encourage you to move forward and complete it, but it is money out of your pocket. But what we're providing is the opportunity to get a discount and an opportunity to have that coaching and help you through the process.
Emily, I see your question as well. Yes, I definitely think it's something that's doable for you. Again, the cohort is going to provide so much support to help you be successful through this. And we're always here if you have specific questions one-on-one with for you. So again, if you ever want to have a one-on-one conversation and how it pertains to you, I'm glad to meet with you about that as well. My email is on the document shared. So if you have any other questions where you want to talk kind of one-on-one, we can definitely do that. So this question probably is, okay, so Brandy answered this one in the chat. It's not her county's in-service center. Does that matter? And Brandy answered that it's open statewide. So feel free to share with friends who may not live in your area.
I know some people, the only obstacle might be the in-person PD day. So that's why I tried to get you that date as soon as possible so that if you have the opportunity to be able to come for that day, based on the experience down in South Alabama, Dr. Hulon said that was one of the most beneficial things for all the people in the cohort. So we really pushed to try to get our in-person day early on so that everybody could get that benefit of that in-person PD as soon as possible. So that's the only obstacle for people that are not in the JSU area is driving up that day. But I think I made the time from 9 to 4 in hopes that if you are having to drive a little bit, that you could get up a little early, make the drive.
Awesome. Any other last questions? All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. and I will be able to then walk us through the portal. Let me share this one. There we go.
At this point, guys, if you feel like you've had it, if you need to step out, I'm going to have to step out. But if you feel like you're ready and you don't need to see the portal, or you want to wait and you know you're going to do it, you're welcome to. That's kind of, it's just really up to you. Brittany, you're going to continue recording it too, right?
Right. I'm going to record this
Yeah.
portion as well. So, like I said, whenever you feel like you're comfortable, you have all of your concerns or questions answered, feel free to jump off the call. Again, like Beth mentioned earlier, we all have a tons of things on our to-do list every single day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang on for maybe about 10 to 15 minutes and just show you what the portal looks like so you kind of can see what it is that you're signing up for.
Hey, Brittany, I wanted to ask this. I had the question today. Do they need to go to this site and go ahead and create an account or something, or is that only available once they've paid?
No, once they pay, we will have an email sent to them and then they will go in and set up their account. So they don't have to do anything until they have paid. And then, like I said, we'll set it up for them. That'll send them an email. They'll confirm their account and kind of go from there. Great question. So for now, you don't have to do anything other than get paid and get registered. And then next week, our first working meeting, we will actually dive into the portal a little bit more. And so for now, it's just kind of a preview so you can see what our program is all about. Our portal is set up to be essentially a one-stop shop. You have everything that you will need in the portal for you. So whenever you first log in, this will be kind of the screen that you see. This is your dashboard, if you will. You'll be able to see kind of like how your progress is going. So again, as Beth mentioned, there's 38 indicators. Essentially, you'll put together a portfolio for each indicator, which you'll submit through the portal. Once your portfolio has been approved by your coach, you'll see here that it's kind of checked off the to-do list, and this will be a great visual for you to see, hey, this is how I'm doing. I'm already at 15 out of 38. So that's kind of your progress monitor, as well as one of the other things you'll quickly see when you first log in is if you have feedback from your coach. So every time you submit a portfolio submission, your coach will, be notified as well, and they'll go in and they'll review your work. Sometimes they may ask you for a resubmit. A resubmit would be maybe they need a little bit more clarification. Maybe they have some, questions based on what you have submitted, that sort of thing. And so sometimes you'll see here that you have some feedback and that you might need to work on a resubmit to your coach. So like I said, this is kind of just for you to quickly see your progress and how it's going. You will be assigned a coach. Your coaches will be working with us whenever we are having our work sessions as well. So you will, they'll be logged in with us every time we have a work session, and you'll be assigned one of two coaches at this point, Christy or Jana. And so you'll get to know them and see them and, have their support as far as communicating regularly as well as through our work sessions. But if you ever would need to get in contact with your coach, there's easy ways up at the top to do that. Here you can do a quick email to contact your coach. Again, this will have kind of all the tools you need built into one. Just to point out some of the other pieces of our program, you'll see here, my favorite way to navigate through the program is by clicking on the certificate map. When you click on the certificate map, you can actually click on expand all, and you'll go down and you'll see all of the indicators listed, and they're grouped by their actions. You'll notice over here we have two icons. Anytime you have the computer icon, this is for you to be able to do learning. Where you have the briefcase or folder icon, this is where you'll do your actual work. So your portfolio submissions. As Beth mentioned, whenever you read about an indicator, you may say like, okay, this is something I'm really good at. You may not have to dive too deep into the portfolio to work on your submission. Other areas, you may say, I'm not too great at that. This is something I might need to dig a little bit deeper on. For me, it might be, I need help with technology. So on our technology integration indicator, if I click on that, you'll see it'll pull up, and this is where the learning can take place first. Once I go in, you have several different pieces. We have what we call the first look, which asks for you to reflect before you begin learning and you dive a little bit deeper. Then as you continue to go through, there's going to be different pieces. We have the what learn, which kind of talks about the importance of this. And then as you keep going, it just digs a little bit deeper, kind of like peeling back an onion's layers on that indicator piece. You can also click, depending on, again, there's multiple ways to move about. You can also click on, let's say you want to know more about, or you want to jump directly to the why reflection. So the why learn is the research to this. So every single indicator is a teaching strategy that is, of course, research based. So we include that research here as well. But then you can also have another reflection piece where you reflect on that learning. So the learning part is really important. It's there for you to dive in at your own pace and learn more about that strategy before you begin making those small changes in your classroom. Along with that, you also have the content. So if you remember, I mentioned the content as you're learning. If you click on the briefcase, then that'll pull up the portfolio pieces that you need. We do have collecting evidence documents here that are downloadable. So you can click here and it'll download your work for you. When you do go in to do that 20-minute observation, we ask you to take your collecting evidence documents with you. So instead of going into an observation blindly, we're going to do it with a very focused approach. As Beth mentioned, you'll be able to work on, or actually you can complete several indicators with the same observation. And so if you group your indicators, let's say you can go in and do one observation and apply it to several different indicators. So you would bring several different collecting evidence documents in with you, jot down your notes, and this will help you filter out your evidence for your work. This is what a portfolio submission looks like. The first thing we ask you to do is provide some contextual data. We even have included some bulleted points here for you. The easiest way to do this is pick, a good handful of them. You do not have to answer or provide information for every single bullet. Pick a handful that'll help your coach be able to see what's taking place in that classroom. Then you'll provide us with that contextual information in this box here. The second step to a portfolio submission is uploading that collecting evidence document. So again, this is where you'll kind of make your notes during that 20-minute observation. The next step, step 3 in a portfolio submission, is selecting where you feel that observation fell on our rubric. So you make a claim using a rubric. Every rubric for every indicator is set up with the same 4 levels: role model to proficient, gaining skill, down to novice. And they're all very specific to that indicator. So your job is to, based on the evidence, based on the observation that you observed, you'll click on where you feel that teacher fell on the rubric. From there, you move into giving specific examples of what actually happened in that classroom observation. And then lastly, you make recommendations for growth for that teacher. Whether that teacher is someone you observed or yourself, you make it suggestions for how they can improve with that specific indicator. So there's lots of learning that can take place through that reflection piece. The last thing that I feel like is always really helpful to know, like Beth mentioned, we ask you to do 20-minute observations. You can observe yourself, which we highly encourage, but you can also observe other people on campus or in your area, as well as online. We also have videos available through our portal for you. The cool thing, or what I really enjoyed about this feature, is that you can sort it. So maybe you're working in a specific action. You can sort it by a specific action, or you can sort it by specific indicators. So let's say I need to work on indicator 1 and let's say 7. I can actually click those two and click apply, and then it'll pull up videos that have those two indicators in those observations. There's a couple of other features in here, and we'll definitely dive in way more. So this was a super fast kind of overview of what our portal has for you. The last thing is, again, there's always multiple ways to find whatever it is you're looking for. So you can always go about it a couple of different ways. One thing we always highly recommend is for your collecting evidence documents that you can click right here and it'll download all of them. So depending on what type of person that you are, you may like a pencil paper version. That was my preferred method. So the first thing I did was I downloaded all of them and I printed them and made myself a notebook where I could go in and actually take my notes versus the PDF editable version. So you can make this work whatever way that works best for you. So note that a 20-minute observation may not always be required. You know, it just kind of depends on whatever specific indicator that you're on, and that you can reuse the same collecting evidence as far as your contextual data multiple times if you use that observation multiple times. That's the highlight, the quick overview. Do I have any specific questions?
I did want to mention something. I put it in the chat. We will send all payments at one time through the in-service center after the February 11th deadline. So I did have a few of you reach out to me and say, hey, I've already paid. Can I still do this? Yes, you can. Just please send me a screenshot showing where you paid so that I can let them know that you're a part of the cohort, but you've already paid. And then fingers crossed, we will still have 20 plus people that pay through our cohort, and we'll be good. But anyway, just wanted to mention that. Don't go online and pay through this site. You will pay us and then we'll pay one lump sum.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions?
I'm gonna throw it out there that I did this solo. I mean, I was by myself and just trying to figure it out. So just there's things that you've said in this, even though I've gone through it, I wish I would have known beforehand. And having a cohort to work together with, I can see where it would be extremely beneficial and just take the stress off of this initial process. And so we'll help any way we possibly can at a local level to be able to help navigate through, as you guys brought up earlier, just navigating through the platform itself early. And once you kind of get that down, you can get rolling with it.
Right. I completely agree with you. Like I was a one-off, much like you. I did not have a cohort. And so it's kind of that concept of it's really scary to get started on something. Once you do and you learn the method, it makes it a little bit easier. But being with a cohort, the first thing I feel like is to your advantage is you receive that live launch. And that's where we're going to really make sure we kind of focus in on the tips and tricks of how to move through the program both efficiently and effectively. Like we want you to get the most of your learning, but we also want to help support you and knowing that you have a lot of things on your to-do list. So how can we make this more manageable for you? So that's one of the best things that I feel like a cohort receives is that first initial live launch, which we have slated for a week from today. The other thing that I really enjoy about the cohorts and the work collaboration is you get to work with your coach. So then that way, whenever you have questions about your specific work, you will have those times already scheduled where you know you'll be able to see that coach face to face. And that's an invaluable piece, I feel like, being able to work with us face to face and getting your submissions and questions answered. Every time we have a working session, our goal will be to complete, at least one submission, if not multiple submissions. So you're not going to be coming to these meetings and having more work put on you. These meetings are going to be helping you get your work completed, if that makes sense. So that's our goal for our work sessions is to really break down some indicators with you so that you're able to get your submissions so completed without having to be that island. So just kind of checking out in the chat. Brandy also put, once we get this going, that JSU can host some afternoon meetings if people want a face-to-face option to work as well. Again, you're going to have a great support system supporting you through this endeavor. It's going to be a great journey. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, feel free to jump off. I'm going to stop sharing for now and stop recording so that way somebody who catches us after the fact doesn't have to listen to more things. But I will definitely hang on and be here to address any questions. If not, you are free to go.